When you open Shade for the first time, this is what you see. A bunch of icons in the top row and your color palette. Here at the bottom you see the info bar, and by default it displays the palette's name. We are using now the example palette number 1. But if you hover your mouse over a color, for example, it also displays its X code. It also displays a brief description of what each button does. For example, this one opens the Find and Replace tool, while this one here opens the Overflow menu. We'll see what each button does in another video. For now, just remember a couple of behaviors or features. The first one is you can right-click to open a context menu. You can right-click anywhere, but it will show a different menu depending on what you are clicking on. If you click on an empty area, you can access the generic menu. Here you can rename, duplicate, delete this palette, create a new palette, open a palette file, and so on. You can also right-click, let's say, on a color to see a dedicated menu for a color. And here you can duplicate, rename, edit a color, delete a color, and so on. The menu is also useful to remember shortcut combinations. For example, if I don't remember how to apply color to a stroke, I can see that I can hold Shift while clicking on a color. The second thing to remember is that you can drag and drop what? You can drag and drop colors and move them wherever you like, in the same group or between different groups. You can drag and drop groups of colors, either dragging the group name or this little dot. And you can drag and drop buttons too. So if I open the Overflow menu, I can have the most used functions always visible in the top row, and the other ones, which I don't need or don't need so often, they can stay in the Overflow menu. The info bar is clickable and it opens the palette library. Here you can see a list of all your available palettes, which you can click on and load into the main panel. You can also rename or delete a palette or create a new one too. And at the bottom here, you can see where your palettes are saved and change directory if you want. I personally don't like to use the default local folder. I prefer a cloud folder instead, because I can access my palettes from another device if I want to, plus my palettes are backed up. So let's do that. I click Choose Folder and select my new directory of choice. Shade is now asking me if I want to move the existing palettes to the new folder, and I'm going to say yes. And now I can see all of my palettes plus the example palettes. Let's open example palette number 3 in both After Effects and Illustrator. Notice that Illustrator doesn't have all the icons After Effects has, and it doesn't have an overflow menu. And that's totally fine, as some functions only make sense in After Effects, or they can run properly only in After Effects. Okay, let's say I click and drag this color to a different position here in Illustrator. When I switch back to After Effects in order to refresh the palette, I just need to move the mouse over the info bar without clicking or doing anything, just over the info bar. Let's do it again. If I now move this color group and switch back to Illustrator, I move the mouse over the info bar and I can see it updates straight away.